As someone that's been an entrepreneur since 2015 and has been working full-time from home on my businesses since 2018, I have noticed a lot of things whenever I am surrounded by so many different people that are successful in their businesses, in their lives, that sets them apart and sets them up for success. And I've tried to implement these things over the years in my own businesses, and I've been able to sell over $6 million, maybe even over $7 million worth of product on Amazon at this point, and continue to grow and scale that, as well as multiple other businesses that service e-commerce sellers. And this is something that I've noticed that can also be a detriment if you don't do this in your business, which ultimately comes down to your environment. Now, if I'm looking at what will set you up for success the most, it's going to be your environment. Now, you truly are a product of your environment. Now, this can be true in social issues, political issues, etc. But what we're focusing on right now is that you're a product of the environment that you create in your own business and in your own life. If you're somebody that is surrounded by Christian influences, you're more likely to be Christian. You're more likely to operate with those sets of morals and values, etc. If you're somebody that is surrounded by a lot of people that have no money, well, you're more than likely going to also have similar mindsets and traits because of that. And in some cases, that's not people's fault. You may be born into some of these difficult environments or born into good environments. But the purpose of this video is that from seeing so many people in my life, as well as things that I've worked on in my own life, is that you can create your own environment that sets you up for success over the long term. Yes, you are going to have times when you can't do that because of where you're born into or certain aspects of your life that you just can't change. But you do have things that you can change, and that's what the point of this video is, that will set you up to be successful like other millionaires and people that I know, and my own experience of running businesses since December of 2015 and being full-time since 2018. So let's talk about how do you set up an environment. In my own personal life, I notice that a lot of times I can get a little scatterbrained because I have a lot of things going on, right? I just talked about some of the businesses that I have, but I think I've got like 4 or 5 different businesses and a bunch of different decisions on a day-to-day basis. And so I know that if I don't have the right environment, then ultimately my brain is going to be a jumbled mess, right? I'm going to have so many different things. I'm going to have, okay, this business has this, and then this business needs this, and then this business needs this, and this, and that, and that, and that, and that. And then ultimately it just becomes really jumbled, and I don't like that at all. So we need to figure out a way to create something that's better. What I noticed in my own life is that when I'm operating out of a place that's not filled with peace, then I'm going to have a lot of the opposite of peace in my own brain, in my own thoughts, my own heart and mind, because I am just going to be scatterbrained. I'm going to have so many different things going on. And my recent observation was that I'm not somebody that really likes instrumental music. It can put me to sleep at times, but I've noticed that I actually work really well if I put on instrumental hymns while I'm working. Now, as a Christian, I believe that, I need to be focused on God above anything and everything else. And even if I'm not intentionally focused on the hymn itself and whatnot, I do believe that there's power in having that in the background, and it's brought a lot of peace to my life. And I've noticed that operating out of that place of peace has helped me to get a lot more things done. And so you need to focus on things in your life that builds up the environment that you want to work in and succeed in. If you're somebody that does have a lot going on and you just need some peace in your life, well, maybe look at adding in some instrumental hymns or some type of music or background noise that brings you peace. But also, if you're somebody that has a calendar and that calendar is scattered, you've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, etc., and you've got a bunch of different open time, like maybe you say, hey, you know what, this is time for to-do lists in my day, and so this to-do list, I'm going to get as much stuff as I can done. Well, I've noticed that having a to-do list and not giving myself the right environment of actually blocking out what I want to get done throughout the day, that is something that keeps me unproductive because I leave open time. This open time allows my brain to go a lot of different ways. The open time allows me to go a bunch of different directions instead of, if I'm actually focused on different activities, I can then go step by step by step, and I'm actually going upward towards where I want to go versus having this kind of a scattered mindset. Now, I know that's a lot of squiggles and lines on the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and move that away. But if you're trying to create an environment for you to succeed in, instead of having open time, actually start to time block these things into your schedule so that you can get things done. You can say, all right, I need to source products for Amazon from this time to this time. I need to ship products to Amazon from this time to this time. I need to check in with a community that I'm a part of. I need to go ahead and do the course that I've purchased and try to implement some of those procedures and processes. And you need to actually block these things things out, because I like to have open time. It makes me feel like, I've got some freedom in my day. I'm not just bogged down by a calendar, but that open time leads me to being distracted. And so I've learned in my own self that I need to time block. Now, additionally, as I mentioned, having a good environment also goes to your office space, right? So let's say you've got a desk here, and on that desk, you've got your computer right there, and maybe you have 2 monitors like I do, but let's just say you've got one. You've got your computer there, but then you have a couple checklists there, and you've got another overlapping checklist there, and you've got things, and then maybe you've got your keyboard, right? You've got your keyboard there and a little mouse, but then you've got a bunch of other stuff, and all of these things are kind of piled on top of each other. You don't really know where everything is because you haven't done a good job of organizing it. If you look at this, I would say this is probably a very jumbled desk, and I'm actually very bad at this because I'll set stuff down, I'll put papers and notepads, etc. on my desk, and so this is something that I'm also currently working on to get better at each day, because if I were to just take away all of this stuff and I just had maybe a notepad and my planner right here, and I've actually, got to have a keyboard and a mouse, and then maybe 1 or 2 other things over here that are nice and in their places, everything else is put into the drawers, well then this is a much more organized workspace where you can actually get stuff done. You don't come into an office and you don't see that it's disorganized and cluttered. If you have a disorganized and cluttered workspace, you're more than likely going to have a disorganized and cluttered mind, and you're going to be distracted and busy. And so if you can organize these things, you'll see a much better result. Additionally, from an environmental perspective, depending on how your family life looks, it may be best for you to have a separate dedicated workspace, an office or something where you can get stuff done. But it does depend on your own personal family life, etc. From an Amazon arbitrage perspective, if you are bringing products into your home and you have them scattered throughout your home, you're more than likely not going to be the best at getting shipments out the door. And so if you can dedicate a space, even a closet, a little section of the kitchen, a section in the garage that's just for your Amazon products, you're going to see much more success because you've got those there, right? And so ultimately, if we're looking at the environment that we create, we can actually determine, are we being more successful, more organized, setting ourselves up for the success that we're hoping for, or are we setting ourselves up for failure by being disorganized and cluttered, by not having a space for work? But if you look at your whole house, you actually have stuff over here and 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 over here, and you don't know where anything is. Or maybe you're looking at your calendar and you've got such open space here so that you can get stuff off your to-do list, but you're not able to actually be organized about it because you get distracted. Or maybe you have so much going on that you can't even have peace in your mind, and so you need to be bringing in hymns or other things that allow your mind to be filled with that peace. Or even the environment of a community that you're a part of. If you're in a community that is negative, that is telling you all the things that are wrong with the business model that you're a part of and ignoring all the positive things, or if you're in a community that is constantly putting out distractions in front of you that pull you away from something that you should be focused on, then ultimately it's natural that you're going to be distracted or you're going to be negative. So you need to be looking for a good community that will ultimately serve your business, serve the environment that you're looking to be a part of. It's one reason that I run a paid Business Building Legends community for advanced sellers that are looking and serious and motivated about succeeding on the Amazon and e-commerce marketplaces. But it's also a reason that I recommend a free community if you're brand new. You don't need to be paying for something. If there's a good free option to be starting with until you know that you're serious about it, then you can look at paid opportunities. But if you're new and you need to be looking for free communities, I've got those links in the description. Ultimately, you can check that out at bit.ly/MST group. And if you're looking for the Legends community or other paid options, I've also got that in the description because that's where I spend a lot of my time and focus on helping sellers. But this is important. This is a part of your environment, the community you surround yourself by. And that is something that I think I've been very blessed with and fortunate with, that I've been involved in the My Silent Team community since I started in Amazon in December of 2015. I've been blessed with great people and mentors in my life that I can ask questions to. But I've also, praise God, I've been diligent about doing my best to remove bad influences or bad aspects that ultimately bring negativity or other things from my life. Now, obviously, I'm not perfect in that way, but it is something that I've learned through time and that I recommend that you do an audit of your environment. Okay, so this is a homework piece for you right now, is audit your environment. I'm actually going to delete this so that way it's not as distracting. You want to audit your environment because this is something that just gives you a good foundation. If I were to say, hey, you need to build a good business and you've got a bad environment and you have no way of fixing it, then ultimately you're going to have trouble building that business unless you're able to fix it. So for homework, if you're watching this video, audit your environment, check out the community that you're a part of, anybody that you're surrounded by, see if you need to remove people or remove things so that then you can install overall better community, better people that uplift you and are positive and motivating and move you in the right direction. Audit your desk in your own working environment, your home. There are things that you need to set up. Audit the music that you listen to on a day-to-day basis. I had a friend and a mentor one time say music is the only thing in this life that you don't really give permission to enter into your mind because it's just on in the background. And if it's negative music or bad music or things that promote bad things, then you're just allowing that to enter your mind. So if you can allow good things to enter your mind, you're going to have a much better thought process and motivation behind it. Also, audit your calendar. Audit the way that you organize your day-to-day basis, your environment. This makes a huge difference in what you do. And if you really want to take a look at, you may think what I'm talking about is a bunch of baloney or, just some weird woo-woo stuff that, oh, this makes a big difference. But if you look at nature, right, you see that if I live in Florida, right, I'm in an environment that is conducive to growing good crops and good plants. Almost anything can grow in Florida. However, if I were to take a palm tree and I move it to the mountains of Colorado or Montana, the palm tree is going to die. It doesn't have the right environment for its success and its growth. And that is the same exact thing in business, the same exact thing in selling on Amazon or online. In the same way, to grow to being a millionaire or grow to being successful in whatever your goals are, it doesn't have to be a millionaire. Your environment that you want to create could be to be a missionary in a international country or a missionary that's local to wherever you live, right? But you need to be surrounded by the right environment to be conducive to that. So hopefully this helps you. Post your questions and comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.